I was able to sleep on it. I'm actually not moved by Bryce's tears. I'm unbothered. I don't care at all. The amount of videos that I saw from women, of course, who were like, oh my God, it's so sad that Bryce is so heartbroken. It's so sad that he's yearning so desperately for her. We have to make sure that they win. This is so heartbreaking. Truly did blow my mind because a week ago, Melanie just had to watch her man recouple with somebody else and lay in the bed kissing on her where Melanie could hear. Where Melanie could hear them together, right? And she cried almost every single day in that villa. She cried so bad that when they got recoupled, she cried again, and then she cried tears of defeat and said, I'm just tired. I just want it to be over. I'm tired of crying. If they're going to be together, please, I just want to be free of it. Because that's how defeated she was. And nobody felt bad for her. Everybody says she just needs to get over it. But Bryce could sit up here and shed one single tear that barely came out, and some sniffles, and now all of a sudden he's a martyr for love. This is the most romantic thing you've ever seen. Mind you, keep in mind, Bryce is an actor. Bryce has a background in acting. Fandom for this show are such loser pick-me's. It's truly painful. Like, I wonder every season why it always ends up that the girls on the show end up being pick-me's. It's like, because that's what the fans are as well. I think it's unbelievable for Bryce to have feelings for Trinity. Trinity's an absolutely stunning, beautiful girl, right? Like, so I'm not surprised that even like he would catch feelings for her. I just feel like those feelings are coming from a place of dishonesty. And whether that dishonesty is intentional or not is an entirely different conversation, right? Because I don't see Bryce as like that much of a devious person. I just think that he's not being honest with himself. This entire season, I've been saying it all season long, has been subtle islands, right? Where it's not people picking each other, it's people ending up together by default and then staying together the entire time because that's the easiest thing to do. It's very easy to convince yourself that you have feelings for somebody and you want to be with someone when you have no other options. Bryce has not picked Trinity once because he's never had any other options. Even in Casa, as of right now, not one of the girls in Casa is feeling Bryce. So that is why Bryce is so sad. It would be an entirely different story if one of the girls was applying pressure on Bryce and was like, I really want him. The way that Tiara, I'm sorry, that my mind went crazy. The way that Tiara is doing with KC, and then if Bryce was like, no, I still want to be with Trinity, then I would be like, oh yeah, that's sweet. That's really romantic. None of those Casa girls want him, so of course he misses Trinity. This is no different than when he realized that Trinity their connection was so strong, and he's a person he actually really wanted to be with, and his feelings for her were so deep after Kata rejected him. He rejected him 3 separate times before he said, oh yeah, Trinity's the person I want to be with. That's what Soul's comment was about when she made that comment after Sun. It's basically her saying, like, I think Bryce wants other people. It's just other people don't want Bryce. Bryce is having this very unique experience that is very unique to Love Island. I think it's what Love Island does really brilliantly, right? It's where Bryce is more attractive than the average person, right? He is used to being called attractive. He's used to people finding him extremely beautiful, extremely handsome, right? Like, for those who don't know, like, Bryce used to be very Tumblr famous, which I know a lot of you guys are too young to understand, but that was a huge deal, right? He even told that story to Trinity about getting bullied as a kid because he was better looking than all the rest of the kids. So that has always been his truth. And the thing about Love Island is that because every single person in there is so much better looking than the average person, it strips away pretty privilege. People who have spent and built their entire personalities over being worshipped, over being pretty, are for the first time ever in their lives facing rejection and don't know how to cope with it. That's why so many of them on this show appear to us as extremely insecure, because they have no practice in handling and dealing with rejection. Both Casey and Bryce in similar journeys, right, where they are feeling rejected and unwanted for the first times in their lives when they are used to being the prize, right, and they don't know how to cope with that. So then when they get forced into these couples with these women who are like making a serious effort and being like, all right, sure, we can be together, they're going to play it safe and go to where they're wanted. I think had the girls in Casa given Bryce the same energy that they gave KC, he would have behaved exactly like KC. The reason why you miss Trinity is because everywhere you turn, it's rejection, 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 except for Trinity. Trinity is the only person who's accepting of you. Even the comment that he made about making a joke with Alana, I think that's what that girl's name was, and he was like, and then she didn't get my joke, and he's like, she didn't even laugh. Trinity would have laughed. And it's like, okay, well, if Alana would have laughed, then would you and her have a connection? Then would you and her suddenly be together? I just like Trinity so much. Okay, but if Kata would have said yes to you, would you still have liked Trinity so much? The idea of trying to compare him to Nick, I just want to say like the clear difference was that Nick kept consistently picking Alandria, right? Like one of the first things he said, 1, she was the first person that he kissed that night with the blindfold. 2, one of the first things that came out of his mouth was, Alandria is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my lifetime. They were forced to get recoupled together, and they both had Sierra and Taylor in the back of their minds, and they kissed in soul ties. Nick was ready to throw Sierra out the window for his chance at Alandria, and Alandria was the person who rejected him and said, no, I still feel bad. I think I need to continue things out with Taylor. There was never a point in time during the season where Nick was settling for her. If anything, Nick was like out of his mind, kind of his mind was blown that she would pick him, that she would say yes to him. Also, watching Bryce's ego be so bruised by him not being the hottest shit on this island, which I'm assuming is what he thought was going to happen, also plays into a part where, like, Trinity is so clearly a star. Every episode that goes on, to me, her star power rises, and Trinity's gonna have, like, a great career and a great moment for herself when she leaves this villa, right? And I'm not gonna say that the moment is gonna be as big as Alandra's, I don't think so, but I'm just saying that Alandria wouldn't be able to have a moment as big as the one that she has had she picked the wrong partner, had she picked a partner who was envious of her, had she picked a partner who was going to do things that was going to put her career and her image on the line for the sake of saving his ego. And we saw that happen with Ace and Shelly. Like, yes, Shelly's still doing okay for herself, but Shelly could have been much bigger had it not been for the fact that she had Ace attached to her side. And Ace kept running his mouth and doing things that were sabotaging her image because his ego was hurt, that she was the favorite and he wasn't. I don't think that when we enter back into the real world that Bryce is ready to be Mr. Trinity. Like, I don't see the Tom Holland in him. I don't see it. I don't see a world in will he be okay with people being obsessed over Trinity and kind of not giving a fuck about him. He is not used to not being the center of attention, and I don't think that he'll be able to handle that kind of rejection on a grand scale like that, and like without wanting to sabotage, becoming bitter and wanting to sabotage Trinity. Have a million and one examples in the media of what happens when the woman becomes more successful than the man, and how his jealousy and his envy will not just tear them apart, but it will tear her apart. The opposite is also true too. What happens when Bryce leaves this villa and all of a sudden he is back to being a better looking person than the average person, and then he has 300-400 girls in his inbox, right? And he's going to these parties and to these clubs, and these women who are easy and loose and have no self-respect and are clout chasing are going to be throwing themselves at him. Is he still going to be like, no, I want Trinity, now that he has all of these other options? I'm sorry, I just don't trust any of it. To say that I think he's being an intentionally nasty person, an intentionally malicious person. I just don't think that he's being honest with himself enough.